This is my practice piece, and I'm going to use the same cloth and same stabilizers as I have on my regular piece. I'm going to test and see what stitch I like. First, I go to the satin stitch on my machine, and I usually put it at 3 for the width and 0.8 for the length. So that may vary depending upon your machine. I'm going to pull up the bobbin thread here, and I'm noticing that the first stitch, it was right on the edge of the applique, which is where I wanted it. If it wasn't, I could start again. And then I'm going to put the threads to the back so they don't get all tangled up. And I'll put my foot down, and then I'll go. And I'm going to start out a little bit slow because I want to make sure that the swing of the foot is, or the swing of the needle, I should say, is going over into the applique, and that the outside swing is going to be just beyond the applique. And I usually start on a straight piece because it's easier. I have my stabilizer, my tearaway stabilizer, just pinned on, and my thread broke. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, I'll try it again here. Sometimes your thread breaks because you don't have a big enough needle, but I had worked with this one before, so I'm not quite sure why that happened. Okay, so I'll start a little bit back here. Put my needle down again, just to make sure it's in the right place. And then I'll start. When I get to the corner, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to have my needle on the outside when I stop. I'm going to take a couple of stitches because this is a sharp point. Stop again with the needle on the outside, and then I'm going to continue on. Coming to the point again, so I slow down. Stop with my needle on the outside. Take a stitch or two. Pivot. My foot automatically comes up, so I don't have to worry about the pivoting. Stop on the outside. Go along the curve. The only time you want to stop on the inside of the curve is if you have to stop and it's in any curve. So if it's going in like a cave, then you want to stop on the inside. Otherwise, you want to stop on the outside. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to use a fixed stitch here so my stitches don't come undone, just for practice. And then I have my practice piece done, and I like that width, which is 3, and the 0.8, which is the stitch length. That makes a tight satin stitch, which is what I want. Now, sometimes people like less tight satin stitches, but this just happens to be the one that I want. Okay, now I can start on my piece here. Again, I'm just going to pin, and if you wanted to, you could baste this on, but pins work for me, so I just used pins here and try to keep them out of the way of the applique, of course. And then you're going to start again like we did with the test piece by pulling up the bobbin thread. So with these threads in the back so they don't get tangled up, and I'm again going to start on a straight. I think it's easier to do that. I'm lining up this red mark here with the outside of my applique. My needle down and back up. Lift my presser foot and pull up the bobbin thread. I'm using bottom line for the bobbin thread, and I'm using the embroidery thread, which I have a lot of. And I'm going to try to get this thread at the back so it doesn't catch. And I'm not having too much luck, but you know, patience, persistence, perseverance. That's what I say. Okay, now I can go ahead and put my foot down, and I start out a little bit slow just to make sure everything is aligned correctly, and then I can go much faster. Get to the straight shot. Coming to the corner and slowing down, and I leave my needle on the outside. Pivot, a couple of stitches. I need to pivot again. I'm just guiding my curve, not really pushing it. I'm just guiding. Remembering the two dogs do most of the work here. I just want to have a nice smooth stitch. It does take a little bit of practice. I've been practicing for a long time, probably 40 years. So don't be discouraged if you can't do it the first time, because I don't think I could either. Again, I'm taking a couple of stitches at the point, pivoting, and then I'm going to go in straight here. And one good thing about this angel is it does have mostly straight. Okay, again, now I have an innie curve. Okay, so I'm going to stop on the inside, and I'm going to take a couple stitches and then pivot and continue with my curve here. Sometimes you don't have to stop. That's okay. If you want to, you can. If it's an inside, then you want to stop inside. Curve, you can stop on the outside if you have to stop. Better not to stop if you can, and even go slow so you don't have to stop. Keeps the stitches evener, I think, when you do that. Going down at the edge here. Okay, stop on the outside, take a stitch or two. Pivot, and go. This is a fairly gentle curve, so I don't really need to stop on this, unless you want to, of course. You can. Okay, insides, I'm going to stop inside, take a couple of stitches. Now this one I have a sharp curve, so I'll take a couple more stitches there. I don't like these in the road, so they can see better. I like this foot because you can see through it, and it does have that red line there, so you can kind of guide your foot along the edge of your applique with that red line. Again, most of it just takes practice. If it's something that you want to do, then it becomes fun. To me, this is the easiest way to applique it. I've done it for a long time, as I said, so don't be discouraged if it's not easy for you to start. Again, I'm going to overlap my stitches here and use my fixed stitch so that they don't come out. And there's your angel.